By now, I'm sure that we all have heard the news that evangelist Billy Graham has died. I want you to know that this man touched my life very deeply. You know, I think that every teenager needs an idol, a hero. And growing up in southern Saskatchewan on my father's farm, I became very much impressed with Billy Graham. I read everything that I could about the evangelist. I listened to the Hour of Decision sometimes twice on a Sunday. I frequently say that my generation of teenagers was into Elvis, and I was into Billy, and I think I made the better choice. You know, sometimes at a time like this, we forget how famous evangelist Billy Graham was. I want you to just go back in time, 1954, Haringey Arena, London, England. He was there for something like 90 nights in a row. And when it came time to say goodbye to the people of London, he filled Wembley Stadium, 120,000 people. It's hard for us to get our minds around this, isn't it? Or we could think of New York, 1957, the Crusade in Madison Square Garden. It went on for 3 months, and then they decided to extend it. Again, when he left New York, he filled Yankee Stadium, and then the crusade continued, and finally, Times Square filled with 250,000 people, and all around the world filling the largest stadiums imaginable. What is it that Billy Graham has given to us and to evangelicalism? First of all, basic integrity. You know, right from the beginning of Billy Graham's ministry, he decided that because so many evangelists were falling into one sin or another, that he would live a clean life so that there would be no scandal connected to his name. I, for one, thank God that even as now he passed into eternity, there is no scandal connected to his name. Second, humility. Billy Graham was really humble, genuinely humble. In 1988, I had the privilege of meeting him at the Moody Church, and I need to tell you that I was disarmed. He was sitting on a couch, and I was telling him how much he meant to me as a boy and even as an adult in terms of my call to the ministry. I told him how much I appreciated him and how I memorized his sermons. The first sermon I ever preached at the age of 16 was basically material that I took from his book, Peace with God. And when I was finished, he said, that's too bad. I thought, oh, too bad. He said, I'm such an unworthy servant of Christ. He said, I just can't live a day without him. Wow. In the fierce light of modern publicity, Billy remained humble. It was almost as if he was unaware of all of the hubbub and all of the activity and the attention that was happening around him. So I thank God for his example of humility. And then I'd say also his focus on the gospel. Billy, if anything, in the depths of his heart, believed the gospel. He preached the gospel with all that he could possibly muster. Even in his closing days and the closing years of his life, you remember he made a number of different videos. And those videos were shown across the nation because Billy had a huge heart for America, a heart that America might repent and believe the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ. You know, I think of the impact of Billy Graham on my life, and I'm only one person. And then I begin to think about tens of thousands of others and ultimately millions. He has meant so much to me. I say from the depths of my heart, thank you so much, Billy. Maybe someday in heaven, I'll be able to tell you again how much you meant to me. And I already know how you're going to answer. You're going to remind me that it's all about Jesus. It's not about any one of us. But thank you for a life well lived. And thank you from the heart of a teenager who is greatly inspired by you, who's had the privilege also of preaching the gospel. Your integrity, your humility, and your focus on the gospel will leave a lasting legacy. Thanks again for a life well lived.